Hey, this is Jeannie Lynch. Welcome, welcome. So happy you're here. Really excited to share what's going on in my studio. So come with me and I'll show you what we got today. Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jeannie Lynch and I'm very excited you're here today because I want to inspire you. I want to motivate you and I also want to remind you. We're going to be tearing down today this beautiful word, practice. What does that mean? Spiritual practice, a yoga practice, a meditation practice, a law of attraction practice. Do you have a practice for any of these principles? And if you don't, you're going to want to stay listening because I'm going to explain why, especially now with where we are in the world, how you cannot take your eye off that ball. In fact, if you're focused on how bad things are, it's just going to get worse. So stay listening. I want to change that for you in today's video. That's coming up next. Let's get right to it. Hey, thank you so much for staying clicked in. I truly do appreciate your time today. And don't forget, before we go any further, like, subscribe, share, comment to this video. That helps me get this message out to as many people. So let's get right into today's video. We're talking about this beautiful word, practice. And there is a reason it's called a practice. So in the hook, I asked you, do you have a daily practice? And so just for a second, think about this. You can comment below, what is your daily practice? I get on my bike ride every day. I try to meditate. I do my yoga. I eat healthy. Eating healthy is a practice. What do you currently have in your life right now for a practice? And is everything around you perfect? And my sense is, even if it's perfect, you still need a daily practice, okay? So I'm gonna pull up the dictionary definition of practice. We're gonna peel it back. We're gonna look deep at this word today. And I want this word to stay with you for the rest of the day. And I'm gonna admit and communicate to you, there's a reason they call it a practice. Okay, so let's do the dictionary definition, okay? The word is in front of you. An actual application or use of an idea, a belief, or a method. Theories relating to it, the carrying out of an exercise, doctors and lawyers and such, right? Repeated exercise or a performance, or activity, or even skill as to acquire or maintain proficiency at it. And then the last part of this is a period of time spent practicing on activity or skill. Okay, come back to me now. Meditation practice, yoga practice, go to training. Mike goes to training for canine, right? There's reasons that we do these disciplines and that we give these focus and courses and classes, right? Because it's important that we connect and we learn and we stay focused on what we're wanting and we're intending. And the reason today it's so important that you hear this is really where we are, okay? With the coronavirus. So I'm going to give it my own little personal story about my health. And I know I've brought up my own personal journey here in the last year. It's actually been a year and I've been not well. I'm not going to say sick because I don't like the word, but not as ideal healthy as I have been. And I get up every day with a feeling of not feeling ideal. And I could go two ways. I could spend the rest of the day in a tailspin about how off I'm feeling, or I could focus the majority of my energy on the feeling that I'm wanting. So I'll give you an example right now. I think my medication needs to be adjusted again for my Graves' disease. So I'm feeling fight or flight, adrenal fatigue, jacked up. There's a bear chasing me. You can't see the bear behind me right now, but he's been chasing me all day. It's the feeling that I'm falling. It's the feeling that someone's chasing me. And I will roll out of bed like this. So guess what? Do I spend things like, jack up on coffee and do things that get my mind spinning? And do I, risk my life trying to go fast on the bike? Hell no, okay? Because of this, my focus is on getting grounded, on taking time to breathe, on making sure I do my meditation, and so on. And all those are a practice or a focus for the opposite of how I'm feeling. And so my reminder for you today is I get it. Look at where we are, right? You're not working, you're home, fear of flight, running out of money. I mean, I've heard everything and I can see you. Come closer. I can see you. I'm not living underneath a rock. I'm watching the news. I get how hard it is. The reason why today is so important is to tell you that you have to have a daily practice, and you have to be proficient at it, and you have to give a focus for your ideal. So you needed to hear that, and I did too, okay? So let's keep going. I'm going to share a beautiful story, and I'm going to use my sister Susie. I'm going to ask for permission after I do the video. I'm going to show you a beautiful picture of Sue, and I'm going to use her as a metaphor because my sister Sue is literally 80 to 90% of the people who come through my door. No one's coming through the door right now, but you know what I mean, working with me. And I'm going to just describe my sister Sue to you, okay? My sister Sue cares and feels deeply about people she meets, strangers even, okay? She loves life, she loves nature, she feels the breeze, she sees the sun. Her emotions, she's an emotional being, and there's so many people who are, and guess what? You're lucky, because we know in the law of attraction too, right? That the higher and amped up and the more you feel, the quicker it happens, right? So you lose that buffer of time that we talk about with the law of attraction. And so when Susie's experiencing her life, did I tell you she has a phenomenal imagination? She's great at visualization. She literally is one of the thousands of people I work with that are the law of attraction on steroids. And that's the beautiful gift for my sister Sue. But here's the curse, and I'm using her today as an example. She feels so deeply that when she's having an off day, it can go to the other extremes too, right? So my sister Sue, and I'm using her as an example, she's a perfect example, and we all are, of somebody who cannot afford to take their eye off the ball, as I told you in the beginning of this video, okay? So I'm going to share a story that happened to Sue. This story's been on my clipboard for years. I couldn't wait to share it with you. So I'm going to take you through an experience that happened to her when the law of attraction was introduced to her. Okay, so you ready? Let's take a little journey together so she can illustrate my point, and then this video will be over. Hopefully you'll be inspired and you'll be looking at the word practice different. Okay, let's do it. So Sue calls one day. This is before the law of attraction was really in her daily practice, and she is beside herself. They have just announced at her job that they're changing everything. Instead of teams, they're going to be called pods. Instead of offices, they're going to be now cubicles. Instead of flex time, it's going to be straight time. And everything is changing for the way in which she does her business. And she loves her job. Okay, so she started to getting all worried because they were just projecting what all the changes were going to be and what it meant to her. And so she was starting to freak out at that. So she called me in this little panic, and we talked it through, and I was listening. And really what was interesting about it, when we backed it up a little, I said, what is your biggest concern? She said, I love my office. I like my window. I get easily distracted by other coworkers. I'm worried about being in a cube. I love my plants in my office. They ground me. I like my team. I mean, she went on to all the reasons why she was nervous about this move. And I got it. So we talked briefly about that. I introduced her to the law of attraction and told her, Susie, based on the way you're feeling right now, here's some other ways to look at this. And do me a favor, do a meditation, start to, write down your affirmation. We wrote an affirmation together. We did all the principles, right, of the law of attraction. Visualize what you wanted, got to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want, all that, okay? And if you don't know what any of this is, stay watching this playlist. There's a whole bunch of law of attraction videos in this playlist. So to illustrate my point, here's what happened. Susie did all this. She did her homework. She hung up. She created a daily practice. She got focused. She wrote an affirmation. She left it on her desk. She focused on it every day. If some of her coworkers started to freak out about the changes that were coming, she cut the conversation. She stayed, all that. Well, 2 weeks later, her boss calls her into her office, and he's got some bad news. He informed her that he's really sorry, but somehow, Whitney's not sure how it happened, but her name fell off the list, and all the changes that were being made, she never got reassigned to the new, and that she was going to have to be the only one who stayed where she was in that office. Okay, so none of the changes happened to her because for some miraculous reason, her name fell off some list somewhere, okay? And on top of that, 3 of her coworkers who lost their space, lost their windows, and lost their view came to Susie and said, could you do me a favor? Could you please house and store and water our plants because they've got no place for those plants to go in a cube. So she ended up with more plants, which was her biggest concern. I know it sounds silly, but for my sister Sue, it was huge, okay? So you get my point. The point is today is when you're someone like my sister Sue who is cares deeply and is out there in the world and just witnessing, and she's empathic and she's experiencing life on such a level that those people, including you, whether you're that or not, need to have a beautiful daily practice about what you're wanting and what you're intending, and being really clear, especially during these times that we're in right now, to not fall victim to our reality just happening to us. Because what do we know? It's happening for us, not to us. When you have a daily practice and when you're focused on your daily practices, and there's so many you can have, okay, but you have to know what practice is. Taking it back to the very beginning, please click out of this video today with just one thing on your mind. What is your daily practice? Do you have one? And does it support what you're wanting as far as your ideal? And if you have a bad daily practice that you would like to get rid of, today's the day, because we know we just can't take our eye off the ball. That's my intention. That's my blessing for you today. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. The more you participate in my community, the more people we'll have to communicate with. This is Jeannie Lynch. I'll catch you next video. Got to get back to my daily practice.